Hello and welcome. If you're a high school English teacher, you already know that teaching rhetorical analysis can be, well, one of the toughest, but also one of the absolute best parts of the job. So today, we're going to break down a really clear 4-year approach to help our students become the confident, critical thinkers we know they can be. All right, let's just dive right in.
This is the big question, isn't it? We've all been there. You assign an analysis, and what you get back is a really great summary. So how do we build that bridge? How do we get them from just telling us what an author says to showing us how they say it and, most importantly, why any of it matters? That's exactly what we're going to tackle today.
So let's start by grounding ourselves in the why. I think when we're really clear on the core purpose of this whole thing, our instruction just becomes so much more powerful. Because this isn't just about spotting rhetorical devices for a quiz. It's about something way, way bigger.
This quote right here, it gets to the absolute heart of it. We are not just teaching students to be expert critics of other people's work. We are building skilled creators. The true endgame here is empowering them in their own communication. That's the goal.
We should really reframe this for ourselves and for our students. Rhetorical analysis isn't some dusty, boring academic task. It is a fundamental skill for navigating the world they live in. It's about recognizing that every single message they consume, whether it's a political speech or a pop-up ad on their phone, is constructed with a purpose. Understanding that purpose is a cornerstone of being a citizen today.
This lays out the journey perfectly. It all starts with teaching them to see an author's deliberate choices. From there, they start to really grasp the mechanics of persuasion. And, once they understand how the machine works, they can start to build their own powerful arguments. It's a straight line from analysis to empowerment. Okay, so we are crystal clear on the why. Now for the fun part, the how. The source material lays out some fantastic, really actionable best practices that can totally transform how we approach this unit in our classrooms. Let's look at 4 key ways to make this work come alive.
First, and this is huge, we have to model our own thinking out loud. Show them how an expert reader goes from just noticing a detail to analyzing its effect. Second, have them read a text more than once, but each time with a different purpose. Maybe comprehension first, then structure, then word choice. Third, bring in all kinds of texts. We're talking historical speeches, modern ads, op-eds, you name it. And finally, prioritize low-stakes practice. This is a total game changer. Think less about that one giant essay and more about daily reps, like a one-sentence analysis where they just have to connect one choice to one effect.
This slide captures such a critical mindset shift. We've got to move away from teaching analysis like it's this isolated skill we do just for a test. Instead, we need to position it as an essential tool, something that helps students see how arguments are shaping their reality and how they, in turn, can shape arguments that actually matter.
And this connects directly to that idea of low-stakes practice. Instead of putting all the pressure on one huge end-of-unit essay, the goal is to build these skills piece by piece. The curriculum emphasizes using short analytical responses, quick writes, things that let students experiment and fail safely. Then, they can develop one of those smaller pieces into a final, more polished argument. It's a process-based approach that builds so much more confidence and much deeper thinking.
So what does this actually look like in practice year after year? Well, an effective curriculum doesn't just cram this into a single unit. It scaffolds these skills intentionally, from the first day of freshman year right up to graduation, with the focus getting more and more sophisticated at each stage. This table lays out the whole journey. You can see we start with the really concrete building blocks in English 1, what is evidence and how is it used? From there, we move to more abstract ideas like audience in English 2. Then we zoom way in on the nuance of language in English 3, until finally, our seniors are ready to critique and evaluate entire arguments.
The journey kicks off with a foundational question. How do writers actually support their claims? In this first year, we help students move past just pointing out evidence to analyzing how those details really work to build a case. We're basically teaching them to be detectives, to see that every fact, every story is a deliberate choice. This is the bedrock for everything else.
In year 2, we add a super crucial layer by digging into audience and persona. The key questions now become, who is this for, and how does the author's personality connect with that audience? This is where students start to see rhetoric as this dynamic relationship, analyzing how one message can be masterfully tailored for completely different groups of people.
By junior year, our students are ready for the microscopic view. We zoom in on word choice, on stylistic nuance, and we push them to ask, why this specific word and not some other one? Here, they move beyond the big structure of an argument to analyze how diction and syntax are like finely tuned instruments designed to shape a reader's feelings and perceptions.
This journey all culminates in senior year, with critique and evaluation. The central question evolves from how does it work to how well does it work, and for who? At this stage, students are putting everything they've learned together, moving beyond just analysis to make some really sophisticated judgments on an argument's logic, its ethics, and its overall effectiveness.
All right, let's bring it all back home. From understanding the core purpose to using these best practices and scaffolding skills over 4 years, every single piece is designed to serve one ultimate goal.
This right here is the key takeaway. Our work as English teachers is all about the future. We are giving students the tools they need not just to deconstruct the rhetoric of the past, but to construct the persuasive, thoughtful, and ethical arguments that are going to shape their own world.
So I'll just leave you with this question to carry back to your classroom. When you think about your students and the world that they're inheriting, how will you empower them to find their voice and build arguments that truly, truly matter?